Digging Deeper is back, and you're the first person to be here. Season 3. Season 3. There's been 24 episodes. You're the 25th episode.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Digging Deeper. I'm your host. I'm Tazeen. And today, I've got a very special guest. I've got Asya with me, right here. She is a community builder. She does events. She sings. She just has a bunch of skills. Whole bunch of different things, which I'm really excited to have you on.
So I appreciate that.
Welcome.
It's nice. I do all those things, yeah.
You do, and more. and more. Probably a lot more than I even mentioned. So let's just jump into it. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what's your expression?
Okay. Peace and blessings, kind people. I'm Asya. Asya IZME. And I am a singer-songwriter. I do a lot of community building activities. Mm-hmm. I like to host events. Some of you may have been to a couple of them. Mm-hmm. I'm also a nanny and a carpenter. And
you do carpentry?
Yes.
Really?
I really do.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you do? What do you build?
Like furniture mostly.
Dang, okay.
Yeah. My mom's an interior designer, so I also do like walls and things like that.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, mostly furniture.
Wow. You learned something new.
Facts.
That's awesome. So how did you get into singing and songwriting, and then from there, how did you get into doing community events?
Well, the community events probably came first. Mm. I come from a big close-knit family in a big close-knit community, and my family on both sides were the people who built that community.
Okay.
So it was like the natural path. It was my job to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
They were kind of handed to me.
So you just grew up in that.
Yeah. And then the music thing, I've been singing since before I can remember. Yeah. My baby nickname is Boogie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of the music thing. A lot of people in my family are musicians, so. Yeah,
the first time I heard you sing, you where was that? It was at an event at the Russell.
What?
That we were performing at 2. And it was Video 7 was performing, and you were up there.
Okay.
And this voice came out of nowhere. And I was like, who is this angel?
Oh, wow.
And then it was so long since I heard you sing again, so I'm excited to have you.
I will be singing at some point.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm working on a project, actually.
Okay.
I'm trying to have it out by March. Yeah, I'm taking over a kickback for my birthday, and it's going to be all me, all my art, all my music.
No way.
Boom. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Tell the people.
That's amazing. So the kickback is something that you've been doing more recently. Mm-hmm. So what is that all about?
The kickback, well, I have a lot of artist gatherings at my house, or I used to. Yeah. And now I feel like I don't only want to hang out with my same friends. Yeah. I want to connect to more people, and I want to be able to make a space where people can connect to each other.
Right.
So that's what the kickback's supposed to be. It's supposed to feel like.
I like that.
Chilling with Asya.
I like it a lot. We did. We performed at it. I've been to a couple of them, and it's just a good feeling. But before, I want to talk more about that. But before we talk more about that, I want to talk a little bit, backtrack, and talk about what is community. When you think of community, what does that mean to you?
When I think of community, what it means to me is the connectedness of people. So it doesn't necessarily have to be I guess the definition would be something having to do with people having a common belief or a common language or something in common. But it doesn't have to be that necessarily, but a way to support each other.
Right.
So you can be in a community with people who are useful to you and you're useful to them. If I can be a resource to you and you can be a resource to me, we can be a part of a community together, even if we don't really have a bunch in common.
That's true, because when I think of community, I think of something similar in terms of there being some commonality between people that makes you feel like you have a sense of belonging with these other people. But if those people are not supportive, and if those people aren't there for you in the way that you need, then it doesn't feel like community, even though you have things in common with them.
The balance is necessary.
So, but then I guess that lends itself to different types of communities.
True.
So, like, what different types of communities do you think are important for you? Just as a person, and then as an artist?
Shoot. Okay. Every part of us needs to be fed. Mm-hmm. So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, musically, all of those things need to be fed. Right. And I feel like there should be a community that feeds all those things. No one community has to be responsible for your entire, like...
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess what's nice is if some of those things overlap with one another.
Yeah.
Because I feel like an artist community can also be very, very, like, it can be deeply spiritual if the artists who are there are also deeply spiritual.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because you listen to some musicians, you're like, whoa, they're like on some different level when they're singing. That's interesting. So then when you started doing the kickback, what type of community did you have in mind that you wanted to bring together?
When I started doing the kickbacks, I didn't look at it as my own event. So I wanted people to feel safe and comfortable like they would at my own gatherings. But I didn't want to limit it to it being like my vibe. Like I didn't only invite people who were my style of music. Things like that. Like I don't drink and I don't smoke, but we had those elements available for people sometimes. Yeah. So I don't know. I want it to be open to artists so that they can find each other. Yeah. Not necessarily for it to be, I don't know, whatever that suits me.
Do you feel like people have made that type of connection there?
I think a few have. I don't know. I should probably ask. I'm going to start a poll.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of the times that I went. There are times that I've gone and the type of artists that were there that I listened to were not necessarily the type of artists that I was seeking, but I was happy to have been there and to witness that.
Well, that's cool. That works.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because I don't know if anyone else... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of it is you have this space and you bring so many different genres of music and different types of art together. Because you've got like the visual art aspect of it.
Oh, yeah, always.
Right? So like what are all the different artistic aspects that you bring together?
Well, last season I tried to hit each genre, always having a visual art aspect and like not a DJ, but like some kind of producer or DJ, so that it's not all performances. Okay. But there were always live performances as well. Yeah. So this season, I'm not separating the shows by genre again. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And I'm doing a few less performances. Okay. So now there will only be 3 or 4 before there were like 6. It may be like someone else gets snuck in because the owner just wants them. Yeah. So that happens, people. Okay. So yeah, I would like people to feel more comfortable in the mingling part, where you don't have to be performing. You can come to chill and meet the artists. Okay. So yeah, hopefully this works out.
How did you get the space?
Well, my mom runs the venue.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and her partner owns the building.
Got it.
So they were like, yo, we want to start having stuff in here. Make some stuff happen in here. And I was like,
that's
okay,
perfect.
Sure, I will.
Because the venue is really nice. And I liked how you, the last one I went to where, I think it was the last one of the year, I like how the stage was on the other side.
Oh, yeah. You do?
Yeah.
Okay. It might still be like that. I haven't been in the
I like it a lot because I felt like the flow of the room was really nice.
Right from the door. Yeah, it's better to come. Yeah, I agree.
And then you had games there, so we were playing...
Yo, man, those games, they were supposed to be giant, and we rented them from this person. They're like, yo, we have these giant games, and then we go to pick them up, and they're like, this fits in a bag that I can carry. It's clearly not giant.
What does that get? It's Connect 4, right? That's what it is.
It was big, but
that
it wasn't
pretty
giant.
It's not giant, but it's big. I mean, you have to stand. You could stand to play it, and then when you let go of the pieces, it's super loud because the pieces are like. I felt bad because Christina and I were playing, and we got like really competitive. And I was like,
that's how I wanted to.
I was like, I can't let these pieces go when someone's performing.
Let them drop, okay? We're supposed to be kicking back. It's not only about the performance. Be comfortable making noise.
It's not only about the performance.
Yeah, it's not a show.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not a show.
It's just. The kickback
with
performances.
I think that's the difference too with like community spaces versus a performance space. There's like a different vibe.
Yeah. So yeah. Trying to convince people like, yo, we don't have to do this, this, and this because we're not competing with like halls for shows.
Right.
We're chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot to convince people like, yo.
Yeah, that's true. You're chilling, and then the artists themselves are also chilling.
Yeah. You're not coming in here being super nitpicky or anything. Everybody's very chill. Because I tell them beforehand, like, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you let them know. I mean, you let us know, too, that it's just, like, it's a chill vibe. Which is true. Welcome, everybody. Joe's on. Christina's on.
Hey.
Destiny. If you guys have any thoughts about what community means to you, let us know. Type in. What defines community? What places do you feel that sense of community? One of the things that you mentioned when we were talking about this before was you talked about the correlation of knowing yourself and who you are and how that affects connections and community. And I was hoping you'd elaborate a little bit about that.
Okay. So what I was thinking about at that time was how I learned myself and how I decided who I was going to be. So we are a combination of things based on our experiences and like, you know, who we were raised by, all these sorts of things. They influence who we are. But also, you know, we're thinking beings. So we can decide, yo, I realize that I have this trait, I'm going to change it. Or I realize that I have this trait, I'm going to amplify it. Or I realize I don't have this trait, let me learn it. And all those things are super important because who you are is super important to who you are to the world. So how you affect other people and how you serve your community and the people around you and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, knowing who you are and who reflects you is really important to me. Because you have to find people who reflect you. Right. Yeah, at least to some extent.
I like that a lot because then it puts a little bit of responsibility on each person because you're not passively a member of a community.
Yeah, you have to choose it. You have to be it intentionally.
You do have to be it intentionally.
Otherwise, how are you really serving? I believe in service, man.
Right.
You can't just be there. That's not legit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what about people who don't... If there's people who are in service, there's people who need that service. Is that something that's constantly changing? Or are we just playing both of those roles at the same time?
I think we're always playing both of those roles at the same time because none of us have all the skills and none of us are needless. We all need something and we all have something to contribute.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true because you can't be passive. You have to actively be giving something. And I think that's the important thing is, like you hit the nail on the head, is knowing who you are and what you have to offer. Because part of that is wrapped up in knowing your worth.
Yeah, man.
It's true. No, because if you don't know your worth, you won't realize what traits you have that you can use to serve others.
Because there are some people who are like giving endlessly and they're like, it's never enough because they don't realize you're giving all these things. You have to count it up, okay?
Yeah.
You count your blessings, but you also count like you're
right.
Like, here's a coin for you. Count what's going out of your pocket, my friend.
So if like, okay, this is like, my whole mind, I got like all these thoughts in my mind now. So if you are constantly in service and you're constantly giving, like you, for instance, you're putting together these community spaces, right? At what point do you feel, or what things do you do to replenish yourself so that you don't feel like you're constantly giving and not receiving something in return or feeling burned out?
Well, I consider myself a musician because that's what I do, but I don't really do it for other people. Hence, you not having a project already done and out for the people.
Yeah.
So I do that for myself. I cook experimentally. So I cook for myself, and that taught me how to cook for other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I spend a lot of time with my family, and that's my like blood family, but also my chosen family. So I'm like, yo, peeps, what are you doing? I need you right now in my life.
Chosen family.
Yeah.
I feel like that's community too. Community is your chosen family. Because at some point, for me personally, I feel like I was raised in a certain community, but then as I got older, I had to find what was actually my community.
Yeah, man. Because it might not be your parents'
community. It might not be it.
Yeah.
And that's a struggle. I feel like my 20s, that was like a decade of just like, where am I supposed to go? Like, where are my people at? I don't know where they are, and I don't know where to start. And I think that can be really overwhelming.
Yeah. Like, when I came back from school, my community was completely different than how I left it.
Yeah.
And I still feel away now. I'm not over that phase where am I abandoning my community because I'm not standing in the roles that I was like built for. But I'm still doing all those things in my life, just not in that particular space.
And that's okay.
I think so.
I think it's okay.
I hope so.
I think like I had to actively have this conversation with myself at some point, because I was really active in my like religious or spiritual community when I was younger, which was my parents' community at the time. So when I decided, or when I just started feeling like it wasn't working for me, I had to come to a point where I actively like, I had to make a decision and say, it's okay. Like, I'm stepping down from all the roles that I have.
Yeah.
So that I can find a place that serves me, that I can serve, that also serves me in that way.
That's super important. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you might be part of a community, and maybe, I don't know, it works during this time of your life, but maybe in the future, something different is going to work.
It can change because you change.
Right.
We're always changing. Hopefully we're building ourselves to be better and better every day.
And constantly evolving.
Level up.
Yes. Did you feel like, when I think of community building, sometimes I think of people who are going through that struggle of trying to find where is my place and like where are my people, and sometimes it's this feeling of, well, I don't know where that place is, but I'm going to create it and those people will come.
Yes. Yeah. I don't remember what the question was. But yeah. that's I feel like that's where I am right now.
The difference between finding a community that's already there versus building a space where like you now can have a community of people who congregate.
That's exactly what I'm working on right now.
Right.
Because I feel like I have people that I love and care about, people who love and care about me, that support circle, all that type of stuff, but they're not congregated. And I don't know if all the elements that I need met, like all the needs that I have are being met. So I'm trying to like be me more outwardly so that I can find my peoples.
Can you say that again?
I'm trying to be me more outwardly so that I can find my peoples.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're not, how are you going to find them?
Like,
they're not going to know.
They're...
That's so true.
Hey,
dang.
Here I am.
Here I am, and this is what I'm about. Take it or leave it.
What up?
That, you know what, I feel like that that authenticity and that genuine nature is what draws people in.
Yeah. Because people can tell when you're kind of just playing a role that's been set for you too.
Right.
And that's not, nobody wants to be that, right. So why would that attract anyone?
Right.
That's not the core of any community.
Right.
Like, what are your actual beliefs? What do you really care about? People have to know those things so that you can have them in common with people. Otherwise,
and it's easy to tell if you don't.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a role and you clearly don't care about it.
Yeah. Look like trash, my friend.
Well, it's passion. You guys can put in your thoughts too. It is. I feel like it's knowing who you are, and it's being yourself and being in a space that allows you to be passionate in those things that you care about.
Yeah. Super important.
And with people who are passionate about those things too.
Yeah. It has to be the core. Because it's already the core of who you are. Whether you know it or not, what you believe in is how you live. So if you're not living passionately and you can't, like, you know, see anything that you care about and what you do in life, you might not really care about it that much. And I mean, I guess that's okay, but you do have to figure out what you really care about and what you are willing to put your energy into, because it will reflect in your life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's limited.
Mm-hmm.
It's limited. You have limited amount of energy, just like anything. So why put it into
this little poop?
Things you don't believe in.
Wow.
Things you need to wash away.
Wash it away.
So in your ideal community, what do relationships look like between community members?
Well, you know where we're going, but okay.
It's digging deep. We're digging.
Honestly, like
that's what this is about.
Out of here. Well, relationships between community members. Again, we always have to be contributing something to one another. Right. So, each and every one of us have to be serving each other in one way or another. And no matter what type of relationship it is, we always have to have that service aspect. And whether, you know, figuring out whether people's needs are being met. And yeah, kind of. That's it. Like, are we building something?
Are we building something together? Are we all working towards some shared vision of something?
A vision, a goal. What are we building to leave behind? What are we trying to set somebody up for? What are we setting ourselves up for? You know, what are our plans for the future? What do we want for ourselves, our people? You know.
What do you want for yourself?
Man, this is what I want. I want a community that sustains itself. Yeah.
That sustains itself.
That's a huge part, because
what does
I
that
don't know
look
how
like?
much we're gonna depend on the powers that be.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, when I envision my future, I see a space similar to what I am working in now. Definitely gardens. Definitely some kind of, like, health-related something. I'm definitely inviting a couple of herbalists into my community. Yeah. A couple of spiritual people, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be religiously the same.
Right.
But yeah, we gotta be some believers.
Right.
I kind of, like, I don't know, there are a lot of things that are important to me. Family is super important to me. What are we doing for kids? Like, I'm a nanny, not because I just love kids, but because I care about kids. Like, you were put here, nobody asked you if you wanted to be born. People are building you. You're being built by a whole bunch of external forces that you have no control over. Wow. So as a kid, like, dang, I care about you. Like, so yeah, all those things.
That's so true. And it's like, what space are we creating for young people to grow in?
they need endless resources. Because think about like what they're capable of and how much they're limited just because of how they're being built by us. Like if we had more, they would be so much more.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be getting bigger and better with every generation.
Right.
So the more we have, the better they will be.
I think we treat them differently because they're young too.
Yeah.
But they could be playing an active role.
Yeah.
And be really young.
I believe in that. Like I don't do baby talk to my babies because they're only learning language from hearing it from us. So why would I speak a fake language to my babies? I'm going to speak to you clearly.
And you'll learn it.
Yeah. Learn it faster and better.
That's true.
Yeah.
So in your ideal community, what role would children have?
I think that learning is a role in itself. So because they learn faster than us, if their job is to learn things, it'll be much, much easier for us to learn things from them. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a natural thing. Like they're already learning stuff automatically.
Right.
So your role is to learn as much as possible. Where are the facts of my little one? Okay. Point it out to me. What are your ideas? Yeah.
What are your ideas?
Like it might not make sense really right now.
Right.
Because you don't have all the knowledge. But if you have these ideas, you could be expanding my ideas. And I know the resources. So we can figure some things out together.
And kids' imaginations are a lot more vast.
Yeah. So
as crazy as those ideas may be, they could be getting somewhere.
Yeah. I believe in that deeply. I was that weird kid that used to like come up with weird stuff. Like, my mom told me my great ideas. I mean, they were making fun of me.
Yeah.
But the great ideas, I used to have these, like, oh, people should paint the walls different colors, and when you want to change the color of the room, you should just peel it off. Like little dumb ideas like that. But it's like, okay, that could be a thing,
but though. That could be. I mean, that's true.
Peelable wallpaper, someone. Show my mom that I was not, like, slow. Like...
That's true, though. I mean, kids, I think, are... I feel like kids have the nature that's closest to, like, true human essence.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that fear.
That's... Ooh, we about to talk about fear.
We're about to talk about fear. They don't have the fear. Because you're talking about, as adults in a community member, we have to know ourselves. And we have to be able to be completely ourselves with other people. That requires us to not have fear.
Okay.
Kids already have that.
That is... Ooh. Okay, so... About this not having fear, okay.
Tell us.
All of the evils of the world, all of them are built on fear. All of the evils of the world. I sincerely believe that, like, within the depths of my heart. My heart and soul. All of the evils of the world are built on fear. Because, like, there's no reason that we all cannot have everything that we need and create everything that we want. So, what is stopping us? People are being hoarders. People are like, oh, we don't want you to own this. We have to have control over things. Right. Why do you need control over things? Why can't things just be? Because you're afraid that you might not have them. You're afraid that you might lose them. Right.
Yeah.
Yo,
that's,
so annoying.
That is fear. Who else said fear versus love?
Yes. Okay. I feel like love is so much more than just a feeling. Like, I love every part of creation.
Right.
Like, point blank. There's no thinking about it or anything. Right. I care about these things because they are a part of creation. They just are.
Right.
And the only reason that I would ever do harm to any part of creation at all whatsoever is out of fear. So, if we erase that idea of, like, yo, things are not built to harm me. Things don't just exist to harm me. Then we don't really have anything to be defensive about.
Right.
And if we don't have anything to be defensive about, we don't have anything to attack.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
But like you're saying it and the concept feels and seems so easy.
Yeah. I don't understand why we are where we are in the world. Jeez.
Well, okay, well, what would you say then to a community member who feels afraid of pursuing something because they're afraid they're not going to succeed or that they won't have the resources or support that they need?
I feel like I would tell them that our effort is not based on what we may or may not have. Our efforts get us the things that we need to get to our goal. So if we don't have the support, then that just becomes a part of our goal. It's a part of the journey, is getting that support. So not if we don't think that we're going to succeed,
right,
then we see the errors in our plans so we can tweak them. We can fix that. We just figure out the problems and solve them.
Right.
We can't if we have the fear and we say, oh, we're not going to do it at all, then we don't make any progress.
Right.
So yeah.
We were at an artist retreat last week, and one of the sessions was about setting goals for yourself for whatever project it is that you're working on or whatever, you know, you're trying to accomplish. And within that goal, you have to put in certain objectives. And part of those objectives would be like, if you don't have resources, do research.
Yeah.
Find out where those resources are. Talk to people.
Oh,
like look online, look on Facebook, look on Google, talk to people you know. Like set your goal up within these mini objectives of every obstacle that you have. What do you need to do to get past that?
I love it.
To the next thing.
Where's this retreat?
It was in Hawaii.
Is that what you just came back from?
That's what I just came back
from. Why would you throw that in my face right now? Whoa.
Never mind. Don't, like, it's not about where it was.
Okay.
I'm kidding. It was about where it was.
Let's chill. No jealousy.
But that was...
I'm not jealous or anything. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was, honestly, though, it was a community space.
Right.
It was a community space, and I would have never imagined that something like that would have happened. And I feel like that's what happens to artists when we put ourselves out there and we're completely ourselves, is things do start opening. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure when you first started Asia's Kickback, you didn't know what it was going to become, but I'm sure things just started to open.
Yeah, they did. Like the first one, there were literally 12 people there, including the artists. Remember, there are 6 artists.
Yeah.
Including my aunts who work the door, and there are 2 of them. So, but the second one, it was filled to the brim. We ran out of chairs. So, it's really just, and also it goes back into me knowing who I am and me doing what I am.
Yeah.
The first one was not music that reflected me. Yeah. So how am I gonna get people to come to my thing and it has nothing to do with me? The second one was like, oh, it's a vibe. Let's go. So yeah, you gotta do your thing. You gotta stay in your lane. I mean, you can expand your lane,
right?
But don't just be doing something that you're not even feeling. Like, you don't even listen to this. Like, what? Yeah.
You have to feel it. Yeah. Environments of encouragement. Yes.
Yeah. I do believe in building each other up. Yeah. We shouldn't be putting so much energy into tearing each other down. That's not necessary to build ourselves up, so. Yeah.
Right. I never understood that. Yeah, it's not necessary to build yourself up. You're not building yourself by tearing someone down.
You're not building yourself on the pebbles of someone else's
You're
life.
not.
Yeah, no. Building each other up teaches you how to build yourself up. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and I mean, building someone else up is not going to take away from what you have. It's going to add to it.
Mm-hmm. Like, people talk to me all the time about how they wish they could sing, and when I sing, it sounds like, boop, boop, bop. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Music is music. Music is art. Anything that you sing is beautiful because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, other people may not like it. It may not be appealing to other people, but that's not... Yeah. That doesn't determine how beautiful it is. You sing, boo. Sing from your heart. That's all that matters.
You don't need that validation from other people. But that's hard because as an artist, you're looking for support, and sometimes support looks like fans.
Ooh. I
but we're going there. We're going there.
I feel like support is such a big word. And who was I listening to? Evelyn from the Internets, and she was talking about something that Julesy was talking about. Okay. These are like YouTube people.
Did you go to the internet concert?
I didn't. I don't go out much. I'm scared of.
I missed it.
Too many people. I don't know. I have issues. Okay, we all have issues. That's one of mine. But what were we talking about?
Evelyn was talking about.
Oh yes, support. And a lot of people complain about like, oh, Lupe Fiasco used to like just blow me like, brush, hush, because he would be talking about how, oh, these people listen to this and they don't support me and they don't listen to my stuff or buy my albums. Yeah. That is not the only way people are supposed to support you. I don't want anybody to listen to me and buy my albums if they don't like what they are hearing. I want it to build them up when they listen to it. So if they still love me and support me or whatever, you're still getting panel discussion gigs. Right. Be happy with that. People don't have to like your album, sir. Chill. Like, you have support from so many different angles. Right. This fan part is the smallest angle. Like, who told you that you were great in the first place? Right. Like, who convinced you that it was okay for you to do this? Right. All of that is support.
What's a fan anyways?
You know what I'm saying? What is a fan? Is it just somebody who likes your work? Because you could like my work and still not buy it. Right. I won't even know.
Right. Well, that goes back to one of the episodes that we did last season about supporting local artists with Christina Roundtree. And you could be a fan and not necessarily financially support. Yeah. But you can support by a shout out or talking about it to your friends. Or if I have a record and I'm just playing it at home and there's people who are overwhelmed it's being played.
All that stuff is super necessary and super important. Right. Because how do we even build our platforms in the first place? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Whoever put gas in your car so that you could get to the recording session. Yeah. Who did that?
I don't know. I hate the idea of tracking like how many followers you have and things like that. There was this one venue that we were thinking of performing at, and we ended up not doing it because they wanted to know how many followers we had on Instagram. And they're like, if you have this many followers, then like we do this, this, and this. Right. And then it's like, okay, well, at this point, you're not even listening to what the music is.
Yeah, you're like just trying to use us for a come up.
Exactly. Not like we even have that many followers anyways. It's not like we're anybody out here. But I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. What are you talking about? You are out here. Whoa.
But you know, like it's the worth of an artist shouldn't be based on that number.
Yeah. What about the actual content? What about how we actually affect you? Right. Yeah. I hope that I'm lifting you up enough to where you actually value that and don't say like, yo, I don't know. Like, of course, on the other hand, I also don't listen to stuff that is like, oh, I like what you're talking about, but I hate this music. Yeah. So I don't know. There has to be a balance.
There has to be.
There has to be a balance.
Well, I mean, part of that, I think, is also like the role of an artist in a community is not just it's not entertainment. It's to uplift people's souls. Yeah. And I think of the example that's coming to my mind right now is John McLaughlin, who is one of the greatest guitarists. And his online presence is so little. Like his Instagram has like barely anyone on it. He doesn't post that much stuff. But what he does in the community, like his concerts are always packed out. He's always donating stuff. He's always in different countries doing work. He's always in different cities doing work. Like he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
He has that bond with the people.
Exactly.
Okay? That's the goal.
Yeah. I think so. Because community isn't online.
Right. I mean, it can be.
I guess. How sustainable could it be, though? If it's online, how sustainable could that community be? You guys can chime in, too.
Yeah.
Because me, personally, I feel like I need the physical presence.
Yeah. I'm an energy person. You could be saying anything, and it might not reflect who you actually are.
Right.
The vibrations you're putting into the world. Yeah, I've thought about that before. And I feel like I do need that physical connection as well.
Right.
But I don't want to discount the connections of just words, because I know that words also have value.
Right. Well, this is an online community.
Yeah.
Right here, because you and I are physically present, but you guys are virtually present.
Yeah. Where you at? You far away.
So that's true. I mean, the online aspect can be a part of building that community, right? But is it the community itself, or is it a means to bring people together and build something that those people can then go out and do?
I like both. I think that it can be both. Because I feel like the connections in themselves is the community part. So if this is how you're connected, then it is a community. If it is how you connect to other people, then you're building a community there too.
Right. Let's see if Brother K's got some thoughts. How do we use social media as a bridge to real connections, or do we just stomp the pavement? Is it 20% virtual and 80% face-to-face? ? Yeah, I think it is a little bit of both. Because I think you can have an online community, right? Like, so if we look at Digging Deeper as an example of an online community where we're reflecting together and we're having these discussions and asking these deeper questions, we're doing this together. But then now we've taken these ideas and we can put them into action in the physical places that we go.
Yeah. So I think that both are legit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the times that we're in now too. And I guess the other thing is social media makes it so much easier to connect to so many different people.
Yeah.
And like a larger scale of people.
Yeah. So sometimes we connect to a whole bunch of people. Like, my mom is active in a bunch of like Facebook groups, and it's so annoying when she's like talking about it, because I'm like, yo, you like very few of the people in these groups. You know that you're not connected to them in real life. You could just leave the group. Yeah. But she won't. And I'm like, what's valuable about this? The connections that you have to these people are valuable to you because of what? They're sharing some types of ideas. They get to laugh and joke with one another. Maybe because they don't have these physical connections in the real world, they can, like, I don't know, release some things that aren't like, that don't have a place out here.
So that's interesting, because I'm in a few like online groups. My mom is too. She's got like hella WhatsApp groups. She gets all her memes from these WhatsApp groups. And I'm like, Mom, where are you finding these things? And I'm like, I think about this often, about sometimes even within a physical group, but even with an online group, it might serve you at some point in your life, and then at another point in your life, it's like, okay, well, those connections that I wanted or that I was getting from this group aren't there anymore. So I'm just going to remove myself.
Yeah.
Because I got, like, at the time it served me and I was able to be in service of people in it. But now I'm not.
That's completely valid. That's valid in every community.
Yeah.
Online, real life. As long as you can serve, stay. As long as you're being served, stay. If not, you gotta get up out of there. You gotta find your new group.
And you shouldn't be made to feel guilty.
Yeah.
Don't
let them hold you back.
People make you feel so guilty. Like, I haven't seen you around here in so long, or you never respond to this, or you never...
Like, how you doing?
That's how I feel.
I was like, okay.
I'm like, I'm good. How are you? Good too. Yeah. Where you been? Not here, obviously. Okay. Obviously, I haven't been here.
If you would like to come to where I am, I can, I don't know if you're invited or not.
Or it's like, or maybe something's going on in your life that's taking you away from that, but then you come back and you're in that space, and then people question where you've been. And it's like, yo, I'm here right now.
Yeah. Can I live?
I'm here.
Did you not want me to come back? Because I didn't come for this.
Like, should I not be here then? Should I go back?
Questions that need answers.
Real love is completed face-to-face, heart-to-heart through real relationship building. I agree with that.
But I do believe that love doesn't have those types of limits. So that's real love. But also, I'm a love person. So I love people that I don't know.
Yeah.
I literally have love for people, like people in general. So
I had to learn that.
It probably.
I was very like selfish with my love.
Why, man?
I just always. I think it was because of a fear. Growing up, it was just like a fear of not being accepted for who you are. But then once I accepted who I am, then it became easy to spread that love.
It doesn't have to be reciprocated the way you want it to be for it to be legit. Like, just care about everything. I mean, not too much. You have a certain amount of care. So when I say everything gets this amount of care and love, it's not like, oh, I'm pouring myself out and I'm falling apart and I'm, all this kind of stuff. No. It's just a mindfulness thing. Like, when you see that person who is, looking crazy down the street, you should love them enough to not talk junk about them. Love them enough to think of an excuse like, yo, maybe they went through this. I'm going to turn away. I'm not going to look. I'm just going to let that go. Or the person you donate to under the freeway pass on the corner. Or, I don't know, anyone.
Yeah.
It's literally anyone and everyone that you have that care for.
Right.
It's not a limited thing.
Because ultimately we're all from the same place.
Yeah.
Like, we're all connected. And we're all constantly reflecting off of one another. You're right.
Yeah.
Reflecting off of and reflecting one another.
None of us are actually alone. We are not created alone. You are not alone from the moment you exist. Nothing about you is only you. Literally nothing.
Nothing about you is only you. That's so true. That was another thing we did at the artist retreat. We had to talk about what were the skills that we had, and then we had to talk about some of the goals that we have, and then we had to look at, is it possible to accomplish those goals without people?
Right.
And it's not.
No.
Like, if you want to build a community, if you want to build a community space, if you want to build an art center or an art space, you have to have people.
Yeah. Or else it's
not that. Like, people who are...
I would have it already.
Exactly.
It is my house. Like,
yeah.
No,
you need people to help build it, to be there, to, like, be part of that process.
Yeah. Everything.
The whole thing.
Wow. Community, man.
Community.
Necessary.
It is. So, okay. So you're an artist. we've started to build community. We've got people, we're like reflecting off of each other, we're benefiting one another, servicing one another. What does the role then of the artist play in terms of the work that we have that we're sharing in that community and how it's received?
I don't think that we okay, so it does matter how it's received. I was going to say that we shouldn't be focused, but we do. We need to be focused on how it's received because we want to affect people in a particular way. And we have to care how we're affecting people. So our work might just be an expression of ourselves.
Right.
And that's real, that's valid, that's legit. But we have to think about how we're expressing ourselves and how that might affect other people. So if I'm writing a song and it's about some experience, I don't want it to be, I don't know, I want it to be relatable enough for people to connect with me. It should be creating a connection where people get something from it besides just entertainment. So either they can relate to it on a level where they don't feel alone because they've experienced a similar thing, or it influences them in some type of way, or it fulfills something in them, like it makes them feel connected to something else, some other idea, some other feeling. Just something. It has some value besides it just being entertainment.
It could be inspiring.
It can be inspiring. It can be uplifting. It can be just giving them joy, because that's real too. But that's not only entertainment, because we know that there is music and like shows and stuff where it is entertaining to us for sure, but it definitely does not lift us up.
Right.
There are shows that I like have to watch something else after, so maybe I shouldn't watch those shows. But I have to watch something else afterwards, so that I don't sleep on the feelings that I had while I was watching that particular show. So,
joy and upliftment, or not joy and upliftment, I would say joy and being entertained are not the same thing.
Yeah, they're not.
Because you can be entertained and feel like you're having a really fun time, but
it can be super damaging to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hence people like, I don't know, people enjoy being intoxicated even though they know it's literally poison.
Right.
So.
And they hate the next day.
Yeah. So
or even
know
that moment.
These things are not the same.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That to me is what defines, in my mind, what defines a really genuine, authentic, loving artist. Is it's not just about expressing what is within, but that expression of what is within comes out and uplifts other people, makes them, even if what you're sharing and what that expression is comes from a place of sadness, it can still uplift someone, right? Knowing that someone felt the same way that you did or experienced the same thing that you did.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's true. I mean, I've been to concerts where it's just like, it's pure entertainment, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what are we getting from this? What are we getting from like fire being shot up on like both sides of the stage and like animals running around and like
what? The circus or no? What?
Even the circus. Like maybe. I feel like that's what it's become. Like mainstream music industry has become a circus.
I don't like that. I don't like enslaved animals, you guys.
Like this is not. No, that's not what it's about. Which is why I really appreciate your space, because it creates, even though it's big enough, it creates an intimate space between people who are just coming to chill and the artists, where it's not this like this disconnect between the artist and the community member. No, it's like we're all community members.
it was a long discussion on how to make the stage and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yo, no, we're chilling.
Yeah.
This is not a concert. They're not going to be on stage and then leave. They're going to sit in the audience, and then they're going to get up, and they're going to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're part of the community.
Exactly.
You're part of the community. And you have a role to play just like everybody else has a role to play. Last question for you.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
You talked a little bit about, earlier when we talked about this, about issues around communities being separate and a resource for one another.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what issues do you feel like come up in your work as a community builder, and what things do you do to combat those?
I think that the focus on money and the focus on ego are our biggest issues, where we need money because money kind of equals resources.
Yeah.
But we cannot limit ourselves to things that only make money.
Right.
Like, I feel terrible that so far we aren't making enough to just straight up pay the artists.
Yeah.
Like, that kills me, like, honestly. But I know that it has a value. Like, that there are people who just need a place.
Right.
So as long as I can connect with people who are not so focused on money and ego, where you need there to be this many people in the room that are not even there for you.
Yeah.
Or you need to get this much money from it, because none of those things have to do with how you're serving the people or how they're serving you. Like, if they actually support you or not, if we actually support you or not. Because we've already talked about how support is not only monetary, it's not only like the numbers and the views and all that kind of stuff. So we need to, those things are so like in the forefront everywhere that we go.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be the forefront in my community.
I think on the flip side, what's hard is it's hard for artists who are doing the music and the art as their sole means of their livelihood.
It's like, we need to like eat.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Right.
Yeah, that's why it's an issue. That's not a zero tolerance thing for me.
Yeah.
I can't say that because I be hungry. Like, let's please buy a cinema. Please buy my art. Please hire me to like perform somewhere.
I think you're right. I think the bottom line is, for if you have the means to support financially, then you should. Yeah. And if you don't have the means to support financially, then make sure that you're supporting in other ways.
Yes.
That can really sustain that artist in that space.
Contribute something. Yeah.
Do you have some last minute thoughts before we switch to a little performance?
Oh, geez.
Not a performance, just a sharing of heart, just a heart to heart.
Okay. Come to the kickbacks, everybody. January 18th. Excuse me. It's a Friday evening, January 18th. The kickback. This will be the first one of volume 2. So, season 2, on and poppin'. Yes. Okay. Not this Friday, but next Friday. The theme is self-care. So we will have like Reiki and yoga and a jam session, of course. It's a self-care jam session. So all your musician friends, anybody who, needs some healing stuff. We still need an herbalist. We still need somebody to sell butters, because we like butters. It's wintertime.
All right, people. If you know any people, drop a comment below.
Yeah. Detroit, herbalist, butters, vendors needed.
And the information that you're telling me, I'll post it on the post, and I'll post it on the website and on the Facebook group.
Yay.
So you can see it and come to it. So one of Asia's talents is she sings. And I didn't really know that she played guitar.
I don't play guitar.
You have, your profile picture is you with a guitar, though.
No, it's not.
It is. On Facebook.
I've been kicked out of Facebook for like 3 years. So
What?
They want me to upload my ID and I refuse.
Well, we about to get healed.
Oh jeez. I don't know if I'm gonna do it.
Whatever your heart feels.
Okay, we're gonna go through this and hope that it works. This song is called Tonight. Yeah. A morning of sunlight through raindrops, she smiles. He kisses her shoulder and tells her he loves her. They lay there ignoring the signs. This might be her last early rise. She says, no worries, my love, I've got no care in the world. One twirl to the mirror and says, tonight, let's go dancing under the moon, or skydiving over the sands when the ocean blue. Only you and I, you and I tonight. Ooh, tonight. Ooh. 1, 2, 3 hours spent searching for things to remember. 1, 2, 3 minutes to reminisce on things. Remember 3 words, 2 rings, 1 day, 1 life to live. Remember to laugh at the small things and smile at the endings. Nothing's the same or as good as it will be. She's putting on earrings, he's tying his shoestrings. 3 steps to the doorway, he says, tonight, let's go dancing under the moon, or skydiving over the sands when the ocean blue. Only you and I, you and I tonight. Ooh, tonight. Ooh, every little thing reminds me that now is the time. I give everyone the best, so your love can be mine. With no doubt in my heart, I believe from the start that everything is just as it should be. A morning of sunlight, the raindrops, she smiles. He kisses her shoulder and tells her he loves her. 3 words, 2 rings, 1 day, yeah, 1 life to live. Remember to laugh, smile, love, live tonight. Let's go dancing under the moon, or skydiving over the sands when the ocean blue. Only you and I, you and I tonight. Ooh, tonight. Ooh, tonight. I did it. Oh jeez.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Look, guys, I'm crying.
Oh.
That was so beautiful. You wrote that?
Mashallah. Yes, I did.
That was such a moving piece.
Thank you.
I was sitting here with waterworks.
I appreciate that. Oh, wow. Oh, jeez.
It was so sweet.
It's one of my favorites that I've written so far, so hopefully I can live up to that in March.
Amazing. I would absolutely love to hear it. That would probably be a song that I would listen to all the time.
Thank you. Oh my God.
And with
that
that,
is support, guys.
That's support. And that's upliftment. That's what artists should be doing. So with that, thank you so much for being here, Asia. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This has been fantabulous. Okay.
Episode 1, Digging Deeper. We are going to be back every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on my Instagram. All the stuff will be on the website. Links to her stuff will be there too. So tell your friends, come join the conversation, and we'll see you next week.
For sure. Peace and blessings, guys.